Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Tech and Target, and I'm your Hemant Kumar, and in this video we will be discussing the part 2 of the last year KPIT aptitude questions. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first question says the percentage profit earned by selling an item for rupees 1920 is equal to the percentage loss incurred by selling the same item for rupees 1280. At what price should the item be sold to make the 25% profit? So there is very less amount of data here. So the only data they have given to us is the profit earned by selling an item for rupees 1920 is equal to the loss incurred by selling the same item for rupees 1280. And they also what they want from us is we have to calculate at what price we should sell that item so that the person will make 25% profit, right? So basically the idea for solving this problem is we have to calculate what the cost price is from the given data, and from that cost price we have to find out what would be the 25% of the cost price. And after calculating what 25% profit is, then we have to add that particular amount to the actual cost price to finally get the selling price such that to get a 25% profit. So with this idea, we can solve this problem very easily. So coming to the point, so we are having two selling prices here. One is 1920 and the other is 1280. Now, but we'll be having the same cost price because we are selling the same item. So the item is same, but selling the item for different, but we are selling the same item for different prices. So with this data, so what we can do is, so we have to find out what the cost price is, right? So first we'll find out what the cost price is from the given data. Now we have selling price 1, which is 1920, and we also have selling price 2, which is rupees 1280. Now we already know that, so we better know that. So profit is equal to the selling price minus cost price, and we know the formula for loss as well, which is cost price minus selling price. So according to the data they have given, so the profit after selling an item for 1920 is equal to the loss after selling the same item for rupees 1280. So we can actually equate both of these equations. So, and after writing it, what will happen? So this SP1 is actually 1920 minus cost price is equal to, now this cost price minus SP2. What is SP2 here? We have 1280. Now we can write this, we can write it something like this. Now after that, now we can say what? So 1920. Now I will move this 1280 to the right, to the left. So that will be 1280, and I'll send this minus CP to this side, which will make plus CP. Now this side CP plus CP will result in 2CP, and 1920 plus 1280, that will result in 3200. And now if we calculate CP, that will turn out to be 3200 divided by 2, which is your 1600. So the cost price of the item is rupees 1600. So we can write cost price is rupees 1600. Now from this, so what they are asking you, so they are asking that you have to find the selling price such that that person will be able to make 25% profit. Now what is profit here? So we know that profit is actually selling price minus cost price. Now if you want to calculate percentage, that's very simple. So that will be selling price minus cost price with respect to cost price that multiplied with 100, right? But what they have given is they have already given the percentage, right? So when they have given the percentage, you just have to calculate what that amount will be in terms of cost price. So to find out that, we'll just take 25% profit means what? So 25 by 100 into your cost price. What is your cost price? So the cost price cost price as 1600. Now if you cancel both of these terms, and if you multiply 25 with 16, so you will get profit as, so 25% profit as 400 rupees, right? Now this is the 25% profit. Now, so this 25% profit should be added with your cost price such that the selling price, right? So that is what your selling price would be. So this selling price would be the cost price plus your 25% profit, right? Now we know the cost price of this item was 1600 from by solving this here. So we got 1600 plus what is this 25% profit? This 25% profit was actually 400 rupees. So if you take that here, we know cost price was 1600 and this 25% profit, we know that it is 400. Now, if you add both of these things, so selling price, the final selling price would be 1600 plus 400, which is rupees 2000. So this is your solution to the problem, and you can take the option C as the right option for this question. So with this, we can move on to the next question. So the next question is something related to the averages. So the question says the average age of a class of 22 students is 21 years. The average increased by 1 when the teacher's age is also included. What is the age of this teacher? So they have given 4 options. Now the thing is, you can solve aptitude questions not just in one way. You can solve it in either mathematics, or you can solve it using your natural logic or whatever it is. Now, when you get this kind of question, it is better recommended that you solve it using your general aptitude instead of using your mathematical skills, because if you solve them using your mathematics, then it may take more time than what you have got. So to avoid that, it is generally recommended that you solve these kind of problems using your general aptitude. Now coming to the question, so they say that a class constitutes of 22 students, and the average of ages of all these 22 people put together, it is 21 years. So what is that? What does that mean? If you add the ages of all these 22 people, and if you divide the sum with if you divide that sum by 22, then you will get 21 years. Now they also say that, now what is this? This is average of 22 people. So if you find the average of ages of the 22 people, you will get 21 years. Now they will say that, so this is average 1, and now they say that average 2, so which that gets increased by 1. So what was the initial average? Initial average was 21 years. Now the second average, that will become 22 years, because 21 years plus 1, so that will result in 22. So this will be 22 years when teacher's age is also included. Now initially there were 22 people, 22 students. Now to that 22 students, we have to add one teacher, so the total number of people now will become 23. So initially there were 22 students. The average of ages of all the 22 students put together was 21 years. If the teacher also is included in that, then the number of people will now become 23, and the average of all the students now will increase by 1. Right. Now, when you get this kind of a question, so they also ask that what is the age of the teacher? So the thing that we have to find out is what will be the age of the teacher. Now, at this point, now, whenever you get this kind of question, so what you have to do is, first of all, you have to initialize the teacher's age, right? So let us initialize the teacher's age. So what is the average that you have got? The new average. So the new average is actually 22 years, isn't it? So the teacher's average, the average after adding the teacher's age is 22 years. So initially we'll initialize the teacher's age with 22, because if we add a person with age 22 to a average of to a group of people whose average is 22 years, then the entire average put together will remain same as 22. But the thing here is, so we are just initializing the age of teacher as 22, but the actual age of the teacher is not 22, because we know that. So they said the average of the 22 students, that actually increased by 1. So which was 21 years in the beginning, but after adding the teacher's age, that average actually got increased by 1. Right. So it was 21 years in the beginning, but it became 22 years after adding the teacher's age. Now what we have to do? So listen carefully here. So there are 22 students, right? so whose average was 21. If someone wants to add to that particular group, and if the average got increased by 1, that means, so what we have to do is, for these 22 students we have to multiply what is the amount of increase, right? So in our case it is just 1, so what it will be, so 22 times 1. Now we have to find out this product, that will be 22, and we had initialized the teacher's initial weight as 22, I mean initial age as 22. Now if we add both of these terms, now the teacher's age now will become 44, which is in the option D, which is your right answer for this question, right? So to give you some more examples, so if in case the average increased by 2 instead of 1, then what we would have done is, so instead of 22 times 1, we would have done 22 times 2, so which would have been 44, and the initial age was 22, so it would have been 66, right? So this is how we will solve it. Now instead of 2, if the average increased by 3, we would have done 22 times 3, so which would have been 66. Then to the 66 will add 22, which was the initial age of the teacher. So 22 plus 66 would turn out to be 88, right? So that's how you will solve these kind of problems. So with the logic and general aptitude, you can solve it very easily. If you use mathematics, then it would take more time, right? Now with this being said, we'll move on to the next question. So this is related to logical thinking. So they say, the question says, there are n people who agreed to buy a gift for price rupees p. So listen carefully, pay attention here. So if three men drop out, how much more money will each have to contribute towards the purchase of the gift? So what they are asking basically is, so actually there will be some n people who accepted to buy a gift for rupees p, but what happened in the middle was, 3 people came out of the group. That means they rejected that. They wanted to pay money to the price, money to buy the gift. Instead, they wanted n minus 3 people to buy them with themselves, with their own money. Now we have to find out how much extra money these n minus 3 people had to pay to buy that gift. Right. Now, how can we solve this? So first of all, you should be having a knowledge that, so whenever if your price is p, let's say, if your price is p, then if the number of people are n, then what happens is, so for each person, the amount that each person has to pay would be what? So that would be p by n. So this is what individual had to pay, right? So this is what individual had to pay when there were n people, right? So we may call it equation number 1, right? So each individual had to pay p divided by n amount to buy a gift for price p when there were n people. Now unfortunately 3 people left out, saying that they do not wanted to pay amount for buying a gift. Now what we have to do is, we have to calculate the individual prices that a person has to pay without those 3 people, right? Now what would that be? So this is individual 1, so now we'll call it individual 2, or whatever you take. So the price would remain the same, but the number of people will have got reduced because 3 people left out. Now we may call it equation number 2. Now what we want to do is, from this thing we want to subtract this thing, right? So this will be obviously greater because n minus 3 is actually less than n. So when the denominator is smaller, then this the entire division will be positive, and yeah, so by positive I mean the more compared to this. So from this, so we want to subtract this p minus n, right? So we want to subtract this from this, so which will result in what? So p divided by n minus 3, that minus p divided by n. Now if you take the LCM, that will be n into n minus 3, and this will be just cross multiplication, p into n minus p into n minus 3. Now if you continue, go on to continue this, so this will be Pn minus Pn plus 3p divided by n square minus 3n, right? Now this Pn gets cancelled, this Pn gets cancelled. Now the remaining part is what? So that would be 3p divided by n square minus 3n. So this is your final solution for this question. So which is your option D? So you can mark option D as correct, which is 3p divided by n square minus 3n. So with that being said, let's move on to the next question. So which is, a car covers certain distance at a speed of 90 kilometer per hour while going. It was at a speed of 90 kilometers and returns to the starting point at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Now we have to find out what is the average speed of the car. So every time whenever we heard of the term average, what we would have done is we just actually we would have done something like this, right? So 90 plus 60 divided by 2, which was 90 plus 60 is 150, that divided by 2, that would have got you 75 kilometers per hour. Now if you do this, so this would turn out to be wrong. So this is a most important concept of speed and distance, right? So whenever you are given the same distance, whenever your distance is constant, and if you are traveling at some certain speeds s1 and s2, so we have a certain kind of formula for that, which is 2 times s1 s2 divided by s1 plus s2. So this is one formula that you have to remember. So when distance is constant, so when you are traveling at different speeds, if you want to find the average speed, then you have a formula which is 2s1 s2 divided by s1 plus s2. Now if you do this, so this will be 2 into 90 into 60 divided by 90 plus 60. Now 2 into 90 into 60 will turn out to be 10,800. Now 90 plus 60, that would turn out to be 150, isn't it? So if you do this calculation, so this 0 and this 0 gets cancelled, and if you solve this, 5 3s are 15, 5 2s are 10, 5 1s are 5, 5 6 are 13. So this is 3 1s are 3 7s are 21, and this is 72. So this will be 72 kilometers per hour. So which is your option B? So you can mark your option B as the right answer for this question. So please don't get confused. So this is a very well-known concept in speed and distance topic. So whenever your distance is constant, and if you are moving at 2 different speeds, then if you want to find out the average, you should always remember formula, which is 2s1 s2 divided by s1 plus s2. And if you substitute your speeds, in place of s1 and s2, you will get the answer, and you can directly pick whichever option is appropriate to you. Now moving on to the next question. It is something related to geometry here. So 9 circles of diameter of 2 centimeters each are in the square. Now we know square is what? All sides are equal, right? So if it is 2 centimeters, this would also be 2 centimeters, this would also be 2 centimeters, and this would also be 2 centimeters. But what they have given is, they have not given the length of this, but instead what they have given is, so find the side of the square if there were 3 rows, okay, and each row having 3 circles each, okay. So they say that, so there are 9 circles, okay. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So there are 9 circles, and each of them having diameter of 2 centimeters. So diameters means what? So from here to here, or from here to here, or here from here to here, or from here to here. So the distance would be what? 2 centimeters, right? So this length would be 2 centimeters each, right? Now we have to find out the side of the square. So we have to find what the length of the side would be if there were 3 rows. So if there would be 3 rows like this, and each row having 3 circles. Now how can we arrange these 9 circles inside of the square? So 1 2 and 3, and here also 1, 2 and 3, and here also 1, 2 and 3. Now we know that if we find the length of this side, it is same as this side, and it is same as this side, and it is also same as this side, because in a square all the sides are equal. Now we know that from here to here it is 2 centimeters, right? So if from here to here it is 2 centimeters, right, then from here to here also that will be 2 centimeters, right? And from here to here also that would be 2 centimeters, because the diameters of this circle is 2 centimeters, the diameter of this circle is also 2 centimeters. Now how many rows we have? So we have 3 rows. So for 3 rows we are having a circle of 2 centimeter diameter each. Now if we multiply both of them, we'll get 6 centimeters. So that would be your answer for this question, which is your option A. And this is it. So yeah, thank you for attending the session, and we'll meet very soon in the next session. Till then, take care, we always keep learning. Thank you for attending the session. Take care. Bye bye.